Hey guys, welcome to She Knows Arsenal Daily, keeping you up to date on all things Arsenal. So make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel to help your girl out. This is my second time recording this, so I hope you guys can see me and hear me because this one's going out. I don't know. But we finally made it to 20K and I am very appreciative of all of your guys' support, shares, likes, subscriptions, everything. And so to celebrate getting to 20,000 subscribers, we are doing a giveaway. If you haven't seen the video yet, you can watch it here and it gives you all of the information on how to enter the giveaway. The prize is a £200 gift card to Arsenal as well as a year subscription to my Patreon. So get on it. I will be choosing a winner soon. So make sure you guys enter if you're interested in that prize. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for all of your support, love, all that kind of stuff, and road to 50K starts today. We have to talk about Aaron Ramsdale. He did a commercial / mini podcast thing with Ian Wright for Budweiser. And when I say that when Aaron Ramsdale does interviews, they are never really received well. He just kind of speaks from the top of his mind, and I don't think Arsenal fans love it. And when I heard what he said in this interview, I thought, oof, that's not going to go over well. And I'm surprised that he actually said it. That being said, players, these are human, and I think fans have a difficult time accepting the reality that these players go through normal things like you and I. We just don't want to hear about it because all we want to hear from our team is that we're going to win and just power through, and they want to be robots. But this, I know it's not going to be received well, and I could already tell on Twitter that they weren't liking it. But let's go ahead and listen to what Aaron Ramsdale had to say. I think it gives you good insight on who Aaron is.
To concentrate on a game of football for 90 minutes, I'm finished, I can't do it. So that's why I get involved with the fans, and I'll sing along with the songs, and someone's giving me abuse, I'll turn around and I'll give them a bit back. Yeah. I've had me 2-3 minutes of sort of madness in my head, straight back to the football. Yeah, and I've got 10-15 minutes of pure concentration again. Next thing you know, half time's around.
I cannot believe he said that. Seriously, I cannot. Did you see Uncle Ian's face? He was shocked. He was flabbergasted. He was just like, I can't believe you're saying this. You could just see the look on his face. He was like, shh, don't say that, don't say that. But he said it, and are we surprised? Like, we know Ramsdale is this type of goalkeeper that kind of needs to be busy, like he was at Sheffield and Bournemouth, to get the best out of him. Back against the wall, constantly making saves, Aaron is one of the best goalkeepers in the league. But at Arsenal, you're facing less and less shots. We're limiting teams to less and less chances. And so you have to be able to make the one save that you have to make. And I do feel like early on this season, we saw something that had crept in at the end of last season, which was every shot on goal goes in the back of the net. And maybe it's just because Aaron is not concentrated. He said that he cannot, he said he can't concentrate for 90 minutes in a game. That's just like, he needs to be able to interact with the opposition fans. Now, for me, like, it's something that we have loved about Aaron Ramsdale is his spirit, his mentality, like the way that he banters with the opposition fans. But I also think there's a negative aspect to that as well, where you don't really want to ignite a fire that's unnecessary. And I think Arsenal and Arteta really want to tap into this level of control where we control the circumstances on the pitch, and we also try to not encourage opposition at all. And Aaron is an instigator. You know, that's kind of what he is. And if he's not involved all the time, he tends to lose concentration. Now, as a fan, do you want a goalkeeper like this? Do you want a goalkeeper that needs to be consistently involved in order to keep his concentration? Do you want somebody that needs to interact with the opposition fans in order to get the best out of him? I don't know. That's up to you to let me know that in the comments, you know. But for me, I'm just looking at it from what kind of goalkeeper would Arsenal want if they want to really tap into this controlled football. It's somebody that when there's one chance that the opposition gets, they save. And I'm not saying that Raya is 100% that guy. We've seen that he has struggled. Equally though, like, we have became a better defensive side with him there. And he did make a really good save against Burnley, which was like the one chance that they had, which is the formula. That's what we want. We want for them to have limited chances, but the one that they do get, our goalkeeper saves. That's what we want. And so, yeah, this is not going to be well received. I'm shocked that he said it, but at the same time, footballers are human, and the more that they speak to the media, the more that the veil will come off, that they're just like these impenetrable beings. We've seen with Aaron Ramsdale being very, transparent about the miscarriage that him and his partner suffered. You've seen it with Tomiyasu basically suffering in silence because his mother had passed away last year. These players are going through things and they're humans. It's just a matter of whether we accept it or not as fans and just be like, hey, he's a human, But then there's the other aspect of, is this the type of person that you want to be your goalkeeper? You guys let me know. Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard has not traveled to Norway for international break. He will stay behind at London Colony and work there. Now, Odegaard has missed Arsenal's matches against Newcastle and Sevilla due to a concussion. That has been revealed to us by Simon McBell after taking the ball to the face in training at London Colony. I want to know who did it. That's the question that I really want to know. Who did it? Who hurt my captain? Was it you, Cedric? Was it you, Cedric? I know it's you, you dirty dog. I know it was you. No, I'm just joking. Was it Arteta? Trying to show everybody that he still had it and he just kicked it in the back of Martin Odegaard's head? Or was it Ben White? That's what I want to know. That is the exclusive that I need from Simon McBell. But, seriously, concussions are nothing to be played around with. It says here that it is required as like a concussion protocol that players stay out for 6 days. They stay out for 6 days, and the blow was heavy enough for Odegaard to be checked out for concussion, and he was immediately withdrawn from the starting 11 that was due to face Eddie Howe. So he was fit enough to play against against Newcastle, which makes sense because he played against West Ham. And a lot of people, this is the thing, is like I saw people blaming Arteta for Odegaard not being able to play against Newcastle because he played against West Ham, and everybody was assuming that he had got an injury in between West Ham and Newcastle. But Arteta already had confirmed that the two situations were completely separate. So I think sometimes we jump to conclusions. I do the same thing. Jumping to conclusions is my thing. But sometimes we do it when we just need to wait for more information, and this makes a lot more sense. Now, I do think Arsenal are being very clever here because 6 days will have went by between the training session that he would have gotten the concussion for and the Burnley game. So I think Arsenal were clever to keep him out against Burnley because they felt confident enough at home to be able to beat Burnley without Odegaard so that they could have him withdraw from Norway camp for this international break. Because again, he did have the hip injury. And so you want him to be fit and firing for December. Arsenal's fixtures going into December are very difficult, and the fixtures are coming thick and fast. And as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, nobody has really grabbed a hold of those 8 positions while Odegaard has been missing. We know left 8 is basically vacant. Nobody has been able to really lock it down. And then right center mid, several players have played there, Kai Havertz and Fabio Vieira, and neither of them have really impressed. Fabio Vieira gets the red card against Burnley. He's out for 3 games. Kai Havertz has had multiple opportunities to play in that position and has not really, he's left a lot to be desired. And Emile Smith-Rowe is not fit. So it's one of those where we really do need Odegaard. And for people that thought life without Odegaard was going to be fun, it's not. It's not. Like, he's really like one of our best players. He was just in a bad run of form. And considering the fact that he had a hip injury, I think that makes a lot of sense to why his form had dipped quite a bit from the Community Shield. So hopefully he comes back from international break feeling ready to go because we need him. But I do like that Arsenal are being more clever with the national teams to protect their players. But being more savvy when it comes to the national team situation in international breaks has rubbed Seleção the wrong way. Gabriel Jesus has traveled to Brazil for this international break for their World Cup qualifiers. They're very important qualifiers, and the new coach for Brazil really likes Gabriel Jesus, but there is a little bit of a battle brewing between Seleção and Arsenal. Under FIFA rules, countries have the right to assess players themselves, and Brazil has taken up the option to do so because Arsenal were not, I'm going to call it, they were savvy and they got a little cute, but they were not that transparent with the Brazilian national team in regards to Gabriel Martinelli. They wanted to call him up for the last international break, and they didn't get a chance to do so because Arsenal said he was not fit, and then he later on did play for Arsenal against Manchester City, where he scored the goal. So that debacle has left a bad taste in the Brazilian national team's mouth, so they want Gabriel Jesus to come in to be assessed by their own doctors, pretty similarly to what happened with Bukayo Saka with the England national team. He went in, he was saw by their doctors, and he was sent immediately home because he was not ready to play. I think Arsenal need to be more careful with their players. I mean, I understand that the players want to play for their international teams, but we need Gabriel Jesus badly. You know, going into those December fixtures, we need Odegaard and Jesus. And so I do understand why Arsenal have been so, you know, kind of careful with the players because, you know, if we're not going to protect them, nobody is. We know that. And so we'll see how things play out once he's assessed by their team doctors, and hopefully everyone can kind of come to an agreement how to ensure Gabby's recovery it goes smoothly and it's not interrupted by this international break. Nobody wins if Gabriel Jesus is not fit, you know, for either one of the teams, right? And so all three Gabriels have been called up to the Brazilian national team ahead of the World Cup qualifier. So I'm excited to watch all of them play. I feel like Gabriel Magalhães has kind of become somewhat of a starter or a really important part of the team back there, with Militao being out for a long period of time. Gabriel Martinelli has a really big opportunity to establish himself, I think, a little bit more with Neymar and Rafinha out. And then you have Gabriel Jesus, who's stepping in for Richarlison, who's awful, you know. So looking forward to those games, and we'll see how all of it shakes out. This is the funny one. Arsenal had been warned that the VAR audio from Anthony Gordon's controversial goal for Newcastle will be released on Howard Webb's Match Officials Mic'd Up show. Are we supposed to be scared? Are we supposed to be scared? I'm interested to hear why the situation with Joelinton and Gabriel was not a foul. Because this past weekend, Michael Oliver called a foul against Saka because he pushed one of the Burnley players in the back with his forearm. And so if this is a foul, then I'm pretty sure if you have both of your hands on the back of somebody's neck pushing them down, that's also a foul, right? But fouls are subjective. Like, Newcastle fans swore up and down that Kai Havertz should have been sent off against them. But, you know, Soumare did a very similar tackle against Declan Rice in the Sevilla game at home. And neither one of those are red cards to me, because even though they're forceful and they're a little bit reckless, neither Kai Havertz or Soumare made contact with the studs or were high or anything like that. It was just a very hard and bad tackle. Like, that's not always a red card, right? And so I do think that fouls can be unlike offside and things like that, and the ball being out. I do think that the foul is really the talking point here, and why they feel as though it's okay for Joelinton to do what he did, because anywhere else on the pitch, that's a foul, and you'll never see that given again. You'll never see that happen again, where somebody will be able to foul somebody like that in the box and the goal will be given. You'll never see it again. It's a 90% certainty that it's called as a foul, but on the day it wasn't, because I don't know if the referee felt like he had not given Newcastle enough calls. I don't know what it was, but that's never not given as a foul. So that's the main thing that I want to know. And even though a lot of people criticize Mikel Arteta and tried to slander his name, behind closed doors, everybody has pretty much agreed that VAR needs to be refined and used a lot better. And so even though you have managers out there like Pochettino and Ange being pick-me's in the media, everybody agrees that VAR needs to be revised, and that's exactly what's happening. So I think Arteta has been vindicated and has justified his outburst after the Newcastle game, because since then there have been more terrible calls. But you know, when it's not happening to Arsenal, people tend to take it more seriously. So I think Arteta has done a good thing here and brought to light something that everybody feels, but people are afraid to say because they don't want to look like they're going against the PGMOL, and they want to gain favor to PGMOL. So behind closed doors, they'll say, yeah, Mikel, I agree with you, yeah. But in the media, they're going to do what Pochettino did. And then even he was the one who was complaining about the refereeing in his own game against Manchester City, which I find so funny. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But I am very interested to see what this mic'd up looks like and why Joe Linton was not called for a foul. Borussia Dortmund attacking midfielder Julian Brandt has been linked to a move to Arsenal. Borussia Dortmund attacking midfielder has been linked with not only Arsenal but Liverpool and Newcastle as well. And Arsenal have been tracking Brandt for a while, but Dortmund have never really entertained any bids for the player that they secured for about £22 million from Bayer Leverkusen. Y'all know who this reminds me of? Let me just show you guys a little picture here. Doesn't this remind you of Draxler? Just a little bit like Draxler. He's our new Draxler. He's going to be linked with us every single window, and he's never going to come. He's never going to come. But let's just in general, I don't think we need this type of player anyway. We need a Premier League standard number 8/number 6, like 8/6 center midfielder and 8. We do not need another number 10, which is basically what Julian Brandt is. Like he's a number 10. And we already have Kai Havertz. We're dealing with that, Fabio Vieira and ESR. And even if they all three end up not being the answer, which is very much the case, like it could end up being that Fabio Vieira doesn't make it, ESR gets sold, and Kai Havertz doesn't work out as an 8 either. But I think in the short term, what we really need to look at is the left 8 as an upgrade on Granit Xhaka, with like just a Granit Xhaka type player with more, athleticism, maybe, maybe somebody with a little bit more press resistance. That's all we really needed in that position. We don't need another number 10. So this is kind of not a player that I feel like we need to be looking at. A couple of years ago, I would have definitely taken him, especially before we got Odegaard. But now that we have Odegaard, I just think we need to focus on bringing in a number 8 that can play in that left center mid position. I think that balances everything out. It's the best situation for Declan Rice. It's the best situation for Odegaard, and the double 10s has never really given us more creativity. I don't know if it's just not the right players. Maybe we don't have the right players, but the double number 10 actually makes me feel like we are less creative because the other number 10 never really imposes himself on the game. And then Odegaard ends up doing everything. And, so Julian Brandt is not somebody that I see coming to Arsenal, or not somebody that I feel like we need to be looking at. But you guys let me know in the comment section if you guys would take Brandt at Arsenal. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. You guys know that. So at 7 p.m., we're going to have a live show with somebody from the Touchy Gooners. You guys know that they've been on the channel before, and it's going to be nice to catch up. So make sure you guys are available and there for the live show. You guys should go ahead and set your notifications for that show, and make sure you guys enter the giveaway because I will be choosing a winner soon, and I don't want you guys to miss out. But make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.